Alright you lot, don't forget to give us a follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating. Trust me, it really does help us out. Should we talk about another interesting bit of news that's come out? And it's not this is all talk. This is Ross Brawn, who is now left or leaving. He's actually left Formula 1. After
Ferrari. Dun, dun, dun.
I mean,
could you imagine?
It was announced on the same day that he was leaving.
Conspiracy, mate.
Bring the old squad back together.
Bring back Brawn.
Yeah,
BBB.
We'll see. But there's been talk of obviously moving forward with the racing. Because first of all, what did you think of the racing this year, raceability-wise, cars? 2022.
I think it was definitely better. I think it was definitely improved from last year. I think I remember seeing a stat that came out just after Abu Dhabi that it was either 20% or 30% increase in overtakes. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to have to quote me on that one. Mm-hmm. But it was one of the two. We'll say 25 because it's in the middle.
That's it, yeah.
Think about it. Which is obviously I think in terms of what the racing looked like, I think it passed the eye test in terms of people being able to follow a little bit better.
Yep.
But it's nice to have that statistical backup of there were actually more overtakes as well. Obviously, I know in terms of as a season, it wasn't as good. We didn't have a great title race and all that sort of jazz. But that's not to do with the cars necessarily. That's just to do with how it all shook out at the end.
Yeah,
because we still had a 2-car title race, which we've not had for a lot of the time during the hybrid era.
It's the first season of the new regs as well.
First season of the new regs. Mercedes brought themselves back into play towards the end. We might have a 3-car title race in terms of constructors next season, which we've not had since fuck knows when, 2012, 11, 10 times.
Mate, even I remember qualifying in Brazil. Obviously, yes, you had K-Mag, but that whole weekend before qualifying, Lando was up there in quali, in the McLaren, Fernando was knocking on the door in the Alpine. But so the reason I say this is there's talk around which DRS is active aerodynamics. Yeah. But there's Ross Brawn's been quoted saying about
deactive.
Yeah. Was it reverse DRS?
Reverse DRS.
So explain, what does that kind of mean?
Well, I'm going to explain what I'm picturing.
Yeah, let's explain the Niran perspective.
So the Niran perspective, the way that I'm picturing that, which is obviously not going to happen, but it's just the way, obviously DRS works in a way that it opens the rear wing, right? So reverse DRS, basically, we end up with a system where the rear wing just goes down back into the car. You just don't have a rear wing. That's how reverse DRS works.
But then you'd have less drag.
Oh no, true actually, yeah, because the rear wing's not even there at all.
It needs to extend out.
Yeah, it'll extend out. It changes shape into a ball.
Yeah.
At the top. Yeah.
Or no, remember in the 90s they had little mini rear wings. On the little T wings, they just pop out to just create more drag. Yeah. Or the driver just has to put their hand up and more increased air resistance.
You get more wings on each part of the car, depending on how far ahead you are.
But basically, Ross is talking about potentially changing things with the regulations to stop the top teams and the top cars driving away.
Now, would that be on a race-to-race basis, as in if a car's say 15, 20 seconds ahead in the Grand Prix, reverse DRS comes into play? That's because obviously we have the detection points where if you're a second behind, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you reach a certain threshold in the race and then that happens?
That's the thing. Nothing's bit he's just
throwing it
he's
out.
Just chucking stuff out there.
Yeah.
Cheers, Ross. We appreciate it because now we can talk about it. But the thing is, I think there's definitely a potential solution, I think, that incorporates more active aero, because they've talked about active aero to decrease drag, so the cars are a bit more efficient, which that's fine. I'm all for technology having a play, and DRS is active aero that we've become accustomed to and used to. I haven't got a problem with that as long as it's equal across. Where I start to have an issue is where they disproportionately, if you're leading, you get hit more. I don't like that.
Yeah, because it's not really the same as because obviously you've got the wind tunnel stuff at the moment where whereby if you finish further down the order, you get more wind tunnel time in comparison to someone. But that's more to just bring teams into play and make it more attractive for maybe newer teams or teams that are down towards the back to actually stick around.
And that's not sporting in the same way.
It's not sporting as well. Like if you're leading a Grand Prix and you're just having a sick race and you're 20 seconds clear, you shouldn't then get punished for that, in my opinion.
It's like rubber banding in like Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Remember like Need for Speed? Where like, if you'd get well far ahead, then the car behind would end up going like 400 mile an hour and catch you up.
Yeah. Because if you weren't looking at them, they're just like, they just arrived there. It's like, what was doing well, mate? Like,
that's basically what, like, which I get that there's we want to move towards as close a racing as possible, but also we want to preserve what makes F1 F1, which is the uniqueness of each team. You've got like an underdog story like K-Mag getting on pole wouldn't happen if you've got this rubber band in like everyone's
if you're
exactly
like
the same.
Forcing it together. Then again, you do have ballast in like other categories of motorsport, which is like if you say won a race on a Saturday or the first race of the day, boom, you get ballast for the second race of the day, which obviously is
they do in like. And look, I was all for ballast as a punishment for like Red Bull overspending, for example. Like, for me, like that as a punishment, fine, but as a, I don't know, I think there's a fine line between interfering too much and preserving good quality racing. Because look, I'm confident. I think 2023 is going to be sick. I think it's going to be really good. I think you've got Mercedes that seemingly have caught up somewhat.
Yeah.
You know, McLaren, Alpine potentially knocking on the door. Aston Martin. I think by 2026 we won't need something like this. This is the way that I feel about it.
That's if the regs work properly. That's how it should be. We shouldn't really need extra stuff that really like compacts the racing together, because you should already have 10 teams or hopefully more that have already kind of like done the accordion effect towards each other based on the wind tunnel time, based on the budget cap, and
because that's the problem. It's like the balance in the entertainment what makes sport entertaining inherently isn't just the fact that you've got really exciting ends to the race. It's the whole story, the whole build up to it.
Yeah.
And I just think with stuff like that, there would be even more caveat for people to just be like, oh, well, yeah, they only caught because they got the, It's like let the teams flex their muscles and like do their thing.
And let the drivers as well. If a driver's having a good race, again, you shouldn't be getting like slapped halfway through the race with, sorry, mate, you've got 6 rear wings now.
Yeah. I don't. That's too much, man.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Okay, like 5. We'll go with 5.
But again, I think that we should be open to like the tech side of things, but I just think it shouldn't like disproportionately hit some teams more than others. But maybe we're wrong.
Yeah. Let us know again what you think about that. Whether reverse DRS would be useful in Formula 1.
We'll see.